Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to our digital marketing class. So I'm currently sharing the screen, and if you can do me a favor in the chat box there, just comment there with any smiley face, any emoticon face representing your mood there. Sleepy face if you are still sleepy. This will help me to determine that you can hear me as well as you can see the screen that I'm sharing so that we can continue with class. So today we will be looking into chapter 7 in the textbook. Thank you for that participation. Feeling cold there. I can see feeling happy faces. We do have a sleepy face here. Okay, but in any case, we will just continue, get some heater for those cold. So chapter 6, I'll just open a scrap document that we'll be working on. So now, maybe before we take you to chapter 6, we can just talk a little bit about your assessments so that I give you some background picture in terms of your planning. So you'll remember that we have 6 assessments in total, and I'll just remind you about the weights as well. So the first assessment, assessment 1, as well as assessment 2 and assessment 3, those are covered. You already have assessment marks for that. So just to quickly remind you, those are 10% each in terms of the final mark. So your next assessment is assessment 4, also 10%. And that assessment, it's gonna be an online assignment that you're gonna submit. So the date, maybe let's just talk about the date. It's in a month, 2 times, so should be between the 15th or the 16th of October. It will be up on Brightspace this week. And then you have assessment 5. So here we did indicate this is an online assignment, which is a project, but it's more practical because here you'll be doing posts for social media, posting them on social media, doing posts for YouTube, creating a website for a company as well there. But you'll get all the guidelines. And then we get the 20% sit-down test. So previously I did give you a date, but that date has been moved. So now we do have a final date. So let's quickly see test week. So with the final timetable now, digital marketing. So it's scheduled on the 12th of September. So that will be 12th September, which is your next assessment actually. And this one is a sit-down test. And schedule 31, but you'll have all these details on Brightspace. Building 31106 at 5:15 in the evening or afternoon. 31106. It's for 2 hours. It's still an open book test. And then we got our summative assessment, which weighs 40% of the a final mark, the very important one. This one will also be sit-down test. It will be the final one that you're gonna write in December. So we'll get all the details once we have the final test week for that. So you'll remember that we are doing a digital marketing plan. So I'll always take you back to a digital marketing plan so that you understand where we are in terms of the chapters. And now in terms of the digital marketing plan, we use that SOSTAC framework. You'll remember that. And with the SOSTAC planning framework, with the first one, which is the first S, stands for situation analysis. And situation analysis, that's whereby we do the remix, which is the 8 Ps, which is our chapter 2. This is whereby we ask where the organization is at. So we only analyze what they are currently doing. We don't provide any recommendations or objectives or anything like that. You will realize that the next abbreviation for the SOSTAC planning framework, that will be objectives. So from here, everything, we are not limited to the case study now. This is whereby we tend to develop our own ideas where we want to see the organization in the next few years. So those are the 5 S objectives, where we've got sell, serve, where we've got speak, we've got save, as well as sizzle. What I just want to indicate regarding this objective, because I've also realized that some of you are still struggling with these objectives. So we'll quickly look into that. So there is some guidelines that you can use that will help you basically to understand these objectives much better. And these guidelines, we use them basically in consistency with chapter 2, which is our remix, as well as chapter 1. They talk about our target market in terms of whether the content is produced by a business to customers or is produced by customers to a business. That's where we get customer to customer, business to business. So basically our target market here, when we develop the cell objectives, you just need to remember that all your objectives should be new. So here you don't do analysis, you don't talk about what the company is currently doing. You talk about what they should do. So you provide recommendations everywhere here regarding the objectives with the situation analysis. You'll remember that. So usually we say our target market to sell, we usually target potential customers. So our potential customers could be new customers as well. So this is usually not existing customers. Sometimes we want to target existing customers whereby we upsell them or they upgrade their package, but that is rare. So our main target market here is new customers or potential customers. So we should be talking about increasing sales or increasing our profit margins by certain percentages and so on. And we've got the marketing remix, which is the 8 Ps, which indicates where we should actually focus on when we look into the digital tools that we can use. So usually when we sell, we tend to focus more on promotion. We also use price a lot. That's whereby we give people some sort of free trials. That could be a free trial that we see a lot with the Showmax, Netflix, and so on, whereby they try to sell their products. Promotion, that's whereby they will give you a reduced amount to pay for your subscription, maybe if you bundle it with Vodacom and so on. And then when we serve this one, it's usually existing customers. So we don't target our new customers here. So we talk about people who have problems, maybe making a payment, people who are actually complaining about the product or the experience. So this is people who are currently in the system. So when we serve customers, usually in the remix process, we tend to focus more in terms of the service mix, because that's where problems comes in. We're talking about your process there. Maybe they struggle with logging in, or maybe they struggle with making a purchase. So we can change and adapt that. And we usually use physical evidence as well as part of the service process. And lastly, we will try and use or manipulate the people element, whereby we provide them with a chat box in case they have a problem. They can start a live chat, they can send an email, or they can use a question and answer session to find most of questions that other customers had, so that they can solve their inquiries. So to serve customers, we focus mostly on existing customers there. And then we come to speak objective. So now this one is a gray area, meaning that usually when you're talking about speak objective, most of the time you'll realize that if you are speaking to new customers, in a way you are trying to sell. So to limit your answers or to make it simpler to understand, they talk about speaking to existing customers. That's why they will talk about things such as a newsletter that can be developed there, meaning that people sign up for our newsletter and then they will receive some sort of a catalog. So we usually target existing customers in a sense that we also give them a survey, meaning that they can complete a survey and tell us about their experience. But in any case, what we see here, what is also missing in this table, which can also give you more guidelines, is that we can also include our communication channel. And with our communication channel, talking about who initiate the process there. So if we add another column just to talk about our communication process, usually the first one, which is to sell, is the organization that will do basically the promotion to target new customers. So it's organization to customers here. And they abbreviated to as business to customers in chapter 1 in that module. So they talk about the creator of the content here. And then with to serve customers is usually customers to business. What happens here, because they are the ones who have complaints, which we are trying to assist those customers with the chat box and so on. They are the one who will initiate the chat box. They are the one who will go through basically our communication channels such as support, or maybe they'll write a comment on Facebook to say, how do we purchase airtime for a bank and so on. So we want to respond to all those queries there. The speak objective, as we're talking about here, this one, it uses the same elements, which is our promotion and price in most cases. When you speak to our existing customers, because we send them a newsletter, and then in that newsletter, we will basically promote products to our existing customers. That could be maybe monthly catalog, if that will be macro and so on. So once again, is business to a customer there. And then with the save objective, we don't deal with customers. We focus on a company here. So I did find some quite in the assessment, some answers whereby most or some of you indicated nice ideas about how can a company give sales discounts to customers. That is not applicable because you are costing a company a lot of money now if they are giving discounts. So it's vice versa. Now you want to save the company's cost. That's why they can use things such as self-service channels, for example, instead of using the paper print service or the post and so on. So usually, once again, in this, we want to basically focus on the place element instead of using the normal place whereby we have a store in a mall, we pay rent or and so on. We tend to use digital means where we can develop an app to save the company's cost, or where we can actually use some sort of a website to order. It could be we use the drones instead of using the delivery service such as scooters or and so on. So once again here, it's business to business. It does not involve customers. So that's why you will see us appointing a drone company to help us with that. So it's business to business transaction that we get there. And then to Sizzle, once again, is existing customers in terms of the brand here. So when we Sizzle to, we mean building new experiences with customers. So whenever they think about your brand, they are actually having a new experience. You change their attitudes, you give them fun, you give them competitions, you are keeping them engaged with the brand in most of the time. So that's whereby you'll find if this is an online retailer or online shopping, they will do some sort of visual fitting rooms, for example, so that people can try on the clothes by uploading their pictures, and then they can see how the clothes will look like, and they can select the sizes using a nice tool. So once again here, when you develop the Sizzle objective, try and actually show us that you are a creative marketing student. This is whereby you think of your own ideas that will help the company or to help the company's customers to think about the brand in a different way. So the Sizzle objective, we tend to use partnership a lot because we cannot basically, as well as the product, that's what we manipulate a lot. So you will think about those example of virtual fitting room, for example. That's whereby we will need another company to help us regarding that. So that will be business to customer transaction once again there. So just remember, we are not analyzing. So do not talk about what the company is currently doing here unless you are improving or you are refining those elements. For example, if the company is using some sort of a referral program to sell, meaning that customers can invite other customers to subscribe and then they get some sort of like 100 Rand for every customer. You can refine that, you are allowed to refine that, but you cannot take it the way it is. So when you refine that, it could be whereby where you talk about maybe they can increase the referral program incentive from 100 Rand to 200 Rand so that people can refer more. So you are manipulating or you are refining the existing tool, which was an incentive there. But as to take it the way it is and indicate what they are doing, that is completely incorrect to do it like that. So on the source stack, we get a strategy now. And now you'll remember with strategy, basically we talk about 3 strategies that we use. The first one being social marketing or social media. And that is our chapter 5 basically there. And now when you develop a social media strategy, we use the POST methodology framework. You'll remember that. It was part of your assessment 3. And now with the POST methodology, standing for people. So we usually talk about 3 things that you can indicate under people element. Firstly, we talk about personas. And this is your audience characteristics and their names. So personas, it must be individual. I've seen some people developing personas to say, maybe they will say these are people between the age of 18 to 25. So a person cannot be between the age of 18 to 25. So you must develop a persona specific to one person, not to a group. So it must be some sort of a persona whereby you say Chris is 25 years old. So it's strictly to one person, although that person will have other people that actually will look like them. But when you develop here, you strictly make it individual. Keep that in mind. And then we get scenario-based designs. When we develop the POST methodology, scenario-based design, you'll remember here, we're talking about the content that they are looking for in terms of digital marketing or in terms of the website. So for example, if you talked about Chris being 24 years old, maybe on the internet, he's struggling now. He's looking for a free trial so that he can try our service. So that will be a scenario-based design. And lastly, we talk about the type of a social media person. It's type of person on social media. And this type of person in social media, you'll remember now, if we go back quickly to our chapter, they talk more about the different types of people on social media. So let's quickly open the slide for chapter 5. And instead of the slide, I will actually use the textbook here. So there is a ladder that they refer to. So just to refer quickly to a page, that will be page 236. That some people on social media, the ladder, they start by being inactives, which is count mostly about 21% in Europe, and it was 14% in US. So inactives, they are usually create a social media account and they don't log in. And then you've got spectators, which they just read, they scroll, they don't like, they don't comment. And then you've got joiners, collectors, critics. So that type of a person you are creating in the POST methodology, you just have to indicate what type of a person they are on social media there. And then you get objective. And with the objective, obviously, it must be specific. It must be only one. You cannot use POST methodology to develop different objectives here. So if you have 2 or more objectives, it means you must have 2 or more POST methodology frameworks. So only one objective usually. And the objective that you choose, for example, if the objective is to sell, it will have specific strategies. So they are specific to the objective, the strategy, which is the next one. And just to remind you here, for example, if we go back to chapter 5, and in chapter 5, you'll remember they spoke about the post methodology, and you will see in this slide, you've got, if your objective is to sell, you can only use these strategies, which means I can, for example, sponsor an advert on social media and so on. If you have the save objective, you can only use these strategies, meaning that I cannot use these strategies if my objective was to sell. And that's another issue that you must keep at the back of your head when you're writing assessments, so that you don't confuse your answers there. If your objective is to speak, you can talk about these objectives as well. Meaning that I can create a video, I can create an infographic, I can do an ebook or shorter guides and so on. These objectives are not applicable if you are if you want to sizzle, because the sizzle has their own strategies. For example, that could be reward engagement and so on. So just remember that, because in your assessment 3, I did see a lot of assessment where you said your objective is to sell, but I don't see the strategy specific to the selling objective there. And then you get technology. And then your technology, obviously, we're talking about what type of, is the types of social platform. And now we're talking about whether it's a social network that you'll be using. For example, if I want to sell here, I can use Facebook, which is a social network. So you must also indicate the type of platform. For example, if I wanted to speak and I'm using, my objective is to speak and I'm using a video here, I can post that video on social streaming site, and the social streaming site could be YouTube, could be TikTok and so on. And then the second strategy that we have, we're talking about the website as a strategy. And you'll remember with the website, basically, this was our previous chapter, which is chapter 6. And in chapter 6 on the website, we talk about the website design elements that you can use as your strategy there. The first one being the function of the website. So now the function of the website, we spoke about the 3 things. For example, it could support the communication process. It could the communication tools, meaning that we are using the website to, I will say, support marketing, because in we can use the website to support the marketing tools. This could be whereby we have a billboard as a company, and the billboard is not digital, and we're using the website to also advertise the same message that is on the billboard using the banner ads and so on. And then the second element that we use when we use the website as a strategy, we talk about the first one being the function, and then we talk about the form of the website. Basically, the form of the website, that's whereby whether it's informative website, it's versus graphics. So it's a decision that you make there. We talk about the content, how we can manipulate the content, or how we can use the content to personalize experience. That's whereby we can use demographics or personalize it on individual level or on country level. It could be a location, preferences, and so on. So this is about the user experience or personalized experience on the website there. And then we talk about the organization of the website. This is whereby usually we look in terms of how the website can be organized in terms of the global pages, the navigation pages, the local pages, and so on. And lastly is the interaction element. And then with the interaction, we usually want a two-way tools that can be actually used there. For example, a live chat, things such as a calculator because it's responsive and so on. And then we've got mobile marketing as a strategy. And mobile marketing is using the same elements as the website. So if we create an app, it will be used to support marketing and so on. So we also have to indicate all those things, how we can organize the app. Or if it's a movie site, same thing, they apply. So today, basically, we come to the T on the source stack planning framework, which is the tactics. So now with tactics, this is traffic building. And our traffic building techniques that we can use, they are all on chapter 7, which we will look into detail today. So if we quickly open the slide, you can download them on Brightspace and quickly discuss the slide. You will see at the bottom of the slide, they talk about basically what I've just explained in terms of a digital marketing, meaning that what we have done and where we are now. So there is start with a nice code there, traffic building. If you build it, they will come. And that quote, it come from Kevin in the Field of Dreams, which was a movie. So there is a nice idea that they talk about there, whereby in the movie, a character there wants to build a baseball field, but he's worried that people will not actually use the field or come to the stadium, in other words. And then that's whereby he learned that if you build it, they will come, meaning that if you build anything, usually people will come. So if you build a church, people will come. If you build a tavern, people will come. If you build a shopping mall, they will come, people to that. So digital wise, or in terms of digital marketing, there are many scholars who have questioned this statement, meaning that if you create a website, for example, if you build a website, will people actually see your website, or will people actually click on your website, or will they visit your website? And they found that it's a different situation. This code does not apply in most cases. There are many websites that companies have developed, individuals have developed, but if they don't have traffic building techniques whereby they push or they try to get people to actually click on the website using all those tactics, people end up not knowing about your website. So this code is not applicable in digital marketing. It's more applicable to other environments that you can build anything, people will come. But in terms of your website, in terms of your social media page, you can build that. Chances is that you will have to promote it. You'll have to use certain techniques before they visit or click on your website then. So with the traffic building tactic, we use this framework in our digital marketing plan. So firstly, we start with step 1, whereby we indicate our target. And in this case, we develop specific objectives. And then these objectives are actually linked to your overall objective of a digital marketing plan, meaning that if in your overall digital marketing plan, your objective was to sell, here you become more specific as well, how you can drive the traffic to that specific website you indicated in chapter 2. So This is some sort of a template. What you need in your assessment, you will be dealing with the practicality or including the practical example, which is the next part showing you the EG there. Number of visitors targeted, it will stay like that in your module or in your digital marketing plan. And you can be as specific as possible that I will target 1,000 subscribers or target 1,000 new customers. And the cost of getting the visitor, you'll have to do quite a lot of research to find out how much it will cost you if you are using a specific technique. So in this case, they are just referring to 100 Rand discount. So in other words here, let's take, for example, our overall objective was to use a referral program whereby every customer, when I refer a new customer to an organization, I get 100 Rand. So if we want to target 1,000, it might cost us 100,000 to get those 10,000 customers. So we want to know basically the budget, or you want to advise the company how much it will spend using your digital marketing plan. So if this was about social media outpost, for example, let's say we were using social media and we sponsor an ad, and then Facebook tells us that for you to reach 1,000 customers, you will spend roughly maybe 5,000. We will put 5,000 because our target is 1,000 customers, and Facebook already told us, meaning that the reach of 1,000 costs 5,000 on Facebook. So we'll have to do research. Same thing with YouTube campaign. So whatever strategy that you'll be using, you'll have to find out how much does it cost to reach one customer or to reach a certain number of visitors that you target them. Techniques that you can use, we have to achieve the correct mix. So you will understand this much better once we're done with the chapter, because whenever they refer to traffic building techniques, they're referring to these 6 that you see here. So the first one that you see, in this case, they are classified based on the budget. If you have a low cost budget, you can use what we refer as own media channels. You don't have to outsource that. For example, I can use the opt-in email. That's whereby I use the newsletter, or I can use viral marketing, creating a nice hashtag, creating something that will go viral there or that will be trending. So this is the cheapest budget or cheapest techniques that you can use. I don't like the word cheap, so I will say cost effective. Yeah, it's the most cost effective budget that you can use there. And then you've got end media or limited budget. If you have a limited budget to develop your traffic building techniques, you can use what we refer as end media. This one, you don't buy them, and they take a lot of effort. So like they say, respect is end. So in this case, we're talking about the media reach its end by your efforts that you will put there. The first one is the search engine optimization. So search engine optimization, you will learn a lot about that today, that you can use Google for free in this case to advertise your products. People will not see your ad, but you can actually complete all sections that requires information. And then the Google, whenever a person uses certain keywords, Google will easily find your page there. So social media, search engine optimization, it's all about you posting as much as possible information on the internet, the pictures, the videos about your brand and so on. And then you've got the online public relations. Once again, this is limited budget, is the end media. It also takes time. So online public relations, that's whereby we partner with Sowetan. We publish our news articles in most cases, hoping they will be published by another company. So that's whereby we will create press release and then release articles and hoping that one day another journalist will find our article and feature it in their digital platforms, for example, News 24, your SABC, and so on. And then if you have enough budget, you can use the high cost model to develop your traffic building technique. This one, the nice thing about it is that it's most effective. You know that you will reach your customers. We refer to this one as paid media because you will have to pay to place your ads there. So for example, you can use the banner ads, which we are familiar with. For example, on YouTube, that could be an ad that will pop up before a customer or a user watches a music video, or it could be a pop-up ad on any website. But obviously, the website where that is hosting that ad is gonna charge you for that. Hence, it's a paid media. Pay-per-click. It differs from search engine optimization. Pay-per-click, this is whereby we buy keywords from Google. And usually whenever a person clicks on the link, Google will tell us how much we should pay. So once again, you wanna do some sort of research to find out how much does it cost when you have to be as practical as possible on your targets here. So if you do your research and Google tells you for each and every click, you're gonna pay 20 Rand, that will be 20 multiplied by your target visitors there. And then it will give you the total cost once again then. So the techniques that we're talking about today is those 6 techniques: opt-in, email, viral marketing, search engine optimization, online public relations, banner ads, and pay-per-click. So in this case, they are sorted once again by in terms of the budget. And our last step is to, it talks about timing. This is a schedule. And you will see with the timing, they say specify the traffic building campaign duration there. So here you choose one. You don't complete both. So in other words, you have a fixed duration, and then you've got the always on, which is continuous. So the difference between the two is that the campaign that you said you're gonna use here, you can indicate that you will use it for 3 months. If you're using it for 3 months or 6 months, it's a fixed duration. But if it will continue forever, that is continuous. For example, here they give you a fixed duration. You can use it on banner ads. Because if you run them forever, obviously you are costing a company a lot of money since they are expensive. You can see them here. But if you want to use a continuous one, like an always on, it's something such as search engine optimization. Maybe you say every 2 months or every month, we must update our information on Google. And then you do that forever, meaning that because there'll always be new developments in your company and so on. So if you are using more than one technique, obviously we suggest that you use at least 2 techniques like it's indicated here. If you have a low cost, I can use opt-in plus varial and so on. So you will see that not all of them can be fixed duration, not all of them can be continuous. For example, you cannot say I will use something such as pay-per-click on a continuous level. That will cost the company a lot of money. Pay-per-click will work best for fixed duration because every time a person will be clicking there, it will always be a cost to the company. So you indicate or you specify for each campaign there. It's important to be as specific as possible. So you don't just say 6 months, you also indicate the date, meaning that you indicate this will be from January 2023 until June 2023, and then we run our YouTube ad and so on. So in short, we will be having a table such as this one in our digital marketing plan under tactics there. But for us to understand more of these different techniques, how they work and how we can combine any tool, let's look into each and every one individually. So you'll remember that they are classified in terms of owned media, earned media, as well as paid media. So they tell us that traffic building is a promotional campaign strategy aimed at increasing the number of visitors to a digital marketing strategy. For example, if our digital marketing strategy was social media, where we use our post methodology, we want to drive more people to that page that we created on social media or to that specific post. Or if we are using website or mobile app, we want to create this traffic building technique so that people can actually click or visit our website or download our mobile app if it's a mobile strategy there. So the first one is referred to as search marketing. That's the first technique that we can use. And with search marketing, we've got two types of search marketing, the search engine optimization, as well as pay per click. This one being earned and the other one being actually expensive, high cost. And then we get banner advertising. Banner advertising, we cannot, is not own media or earned media. All of the banner advertising are paid media. And then here you got a classification of different types of banner advertising. You've got what we refer to as intermediate ad. So the term, it says intermediate, meaning that before a customer clicks on something, before a customer sees a post, before a customer watches a music video on YouTube, it's a good example of what intermediate ad is about. So intermediate, it talks about before, where else pop-up, it can happen during the course of the visit of the customer. So intermediate ad could also work when they try to access the website. Before they reach the website, you've got an ad there. Pop-up ad, it's delayed. That's the difference with intermediate and pop-up. Pop-up ad, it's delayed. It will come after different amount of time. That could be after 5 minutes or 1 minute a viewer or a user is viewing content. And then you got what we refer to as native ad. And then native ad is also known as contextual advertising. What they do here nowadays, they try to put an ad that talks about a brand that is associated with the article heading. So for example, if the article on Sowetan, let's say Sowetan Live publish an article, and then that article is about obesity and so on, and then we can advertise a certain product that deals with obesity there. For example, there you can talk about your slimming products and so on. So it's native ad in a sense that a customer usually when they read an article, they will not become aware that now they are reading an ad. So they try by all means to put it part of the sentences and so on, but we'll talk a bit more about it. So you've got online PR and partnership there, which is your third traffic building technique that you can use. And our online public relations and partnerships, our techniques there, you've got brand mentions. That will be the news mentioning your brand. What we do usually here, we send news articles to the publishers. For example, we develop an article, what we've done as a company, and then we send it to News 24, hoping that they will publish it. It's up to them whether they publish it or not. Hence, it's earned media. And then you've got The second types of online public relations is referred to as affiliate marketing. This is whereby we talk about incentives, referral programs. Affiliate marketing, you'll remember it's share this code with your friend as an example, and then you get 100 Rand or 50 Rand off. We see it used by Mr. Delivery quite a lot, or things such as Uber Eats and so on. And then you've got online sponsorship. Obviously, that will be us sponsoring a certain course, hence it is going to cost us a lot of money. So just remember that is not sponsorship in general. Everything that we do in digital marketing, it must be online. So we sponsor a course by actually using online tools. So it cannot be something such as maybe we go to a certain organization, maybe it's a community-based organization, maybe elderly people, and then we sponsor that with food and so on. That will not be applicable. It should be an online sponsorship that could work, for example, whereby maybe there's a company giving free online courses, and then we sponsor that part by giving some sort of certificates, digital certificates, and so on. And then you've got your fourth traffic building technique, which is opt-in email. It's very important that we stick to that first word, opt-in there, because we're talking about people who have subscribed, people who have agreed that we can send them email. So hence they use the word opt-in email there. So if we use the term e-newsletter, we struggle a lot because most of marketers abuse e-newsletter. They send it to people who have not subscribed. Like if you go to your emails, probably you'll realize some of promotional material that you receive and you don't remember subscribing to those companies. So they are very specific in this textbook about the opt-in, meaning that the customer should actually give their consent there. And then there are actually four different types of opt-in emails. So this one is the first technique that allows us to use own media, our own media channel, meaning that we don't have a lot of money as a company. We can use, for example, our list of emails, which they refer to as a house list emails. And then we send maybe every month a catalog to the customers who have said they would like to receive a catalog. And we have this opt-in email in our database. And if we don't have the list of emails or we want to target more customers, we can go for end media. And then with the end media, we can actually rent a list from another company. For example, you will see how Showmax has rented a list from DSTV. So it's all about partnership to say DSTV customers, when they receive the newsletter, their newsletter, they can also get some content or promotion about Showmax. So it's a partnership between two companies. They refer to it as a cold list because it's not effective, meaning that if a customer has subscribed to receive emails from Vodacom, and then he gets another email that is coming from BMW, for example, they tend not to pay attention to that email because they have not subscribed to such company. Hence, it's called email list there. And then you've got the co-branded email. That's whereby co-branded email, instead of renting a list to say, please, can we use your list to send our promotional materials? We asked the company if we can include our segment segment advertising, meaning that in their newsletter, they can just feature us there. And then we don't get access to that list of emails of their customers. It's just them featuring us in their e-newsletter. So it's two companies. Once again, Showmax and DSTV, we saw some sort of co-branded using their emails there. And then you've got the third-party newsletter. And then the third-party newsletter is paid media. This one is the expensive one. So third-party newsletter, we don't actually partner with a third party. The third party will actually charge us money, and then they will just send that email on our behalf to their clients in their newsletter. So it's in a way similar to co-branded. The difference is that this one is more expensive, where else this one is some sort of an agreement. Both companies benefit here, where else in this case we are paying another company which will just distribute our brand or our advert segment to their clients there. And then we've got viral marketing as the last technique that you can use to drive traffic. With the viral marketing, we've got 5 different types of techniques under viral marketing. So using own media, meaning that if we don't have enough money, we can use email viral. And then with the email viral is us creating a post and then hoping that if we send it to this house list emails, people will share that email with their friends. They will forward that email. And then we've got end media. End media, it's email prompt viral and as well as web prompt viral. This is whereby we ask customers, for example, we can ask them in the email or on their website for them to enter their friends' email so that their friends could also receive the content that we are advertising there. And then we can also use some sort of paid media for us to do a viral marketing, incentivized viral as well as web link. This is whereby people get paid with incentivized. They get paid to actually forward or to share whatever post that we are creating. And then as the more they get paid is the more they will share, and then it tends to go viral. And then once again here with the web link is similar to web props. The difference is that people get paid once again. If they share on the website, they share that link, they will they'll obviously get incentivized. So this one is an incentivized post. This one is an incentivized website. So you will see they say even the best design sites will fail if there is no proactive digital marketing activities to attract visits to the media. Hence, we will use all these techniques. So they are categorized into 5, and then each of them is having different subcategories, and then hence you've got a total of all those different types of techniques that you can use. So this will also help you now when you develop your objectives in the digital marketing plan. You know that if something is about traffic building, meaning that it's about increasing sale, our objective is to sell. And you want to be as specific as possible with your objective. You can now start to suggest to say we will run a YouTube campaign, and then in that YouTube campaign we will use a intermediate ad, or if you want to use affiliate marketing, or if you can use email viral. But now you've got more options, or we can buy keywords from Google. Every time a customer clicks a certain keyword, and then they will visit our website. So most of them it's about speak objective as well as sell objective. So just to go back here, we can also add that traffic building techniques, which is chapter 7. They also work for you to develop those new objectives there. So traffic building techniques, because most of you struggle a lot with this with developing objectives, and hence I'm saying you must be as specific as possible. You stick to one idea, and you also wanna unbundle that idea as much as you can so that it's clear to the reader. They understand what you'll be doing. So I've seen some students talk about different things or different online tools regarding one objective, and we tend to get lost to say now you are no longer specific, you are no longer talking about one idea. So talk about one idea or talk about one traffic building technique and try to elaborate more or how you're gonna use that traffic building technique as much as you can then. So let's start with search marketing and talk about these two into more detail. So with search engine marketing, this one, it involves achieving the highest position or ranking on the search engine results page after a specific combination of keywords has been typed in. So our goal here is that we have a customer and a customer maybe is looking for something specific. So the customer will be on Google, and let's say a customer wants to rent a car without a credit card. So they will type something such as rent a car without a credit card. Our goal is for us to be somewhere in the top here. That's what search marketing is about. So if we are not on the top of the results, at least let us be on the first page, not be on the 10 page, because you can see Google already tells us that they've got that is 354 million results. So we don't want to be that far. So we just want to be somewhere here, such as you are Rent My Cars, Pretoria Car Rental, Driftney there, which are adverts, and then you get a Scream Car Rental, Tempest Car Hire. So that's what it's all about. The objective is to achieve the highest position or ranking on the search engine results after a customer has actually typed in the keywords. So the first one is search engine optimization. With search engine optimization, the difference between what you see there in the results is that the first four results, these are the pay per click, because you can see you've got ad there, ad, meaning that this is an advert as they indicate there. But all these results without an ad, they are based on what we refer to as social engine optimization or SEO. Meaning that in terms of these keywords, this company, which is Extreme Car Rental, is the one that posted a lot or has done quite a lot in terms of social engine optimization. They optimize the search engine so that they become number one. Remember, for them to be number one is just the information that it's more available there on the internet regarding that company. So we've got two options that we can use for search engine optimization. The first one is blended search. So now with blended search, they actually explain it nicely in the textbook. So you will see chapter 7. So you'll have to go through the textbook and read some case studies to get more idea rather than relying only on the slides. So they also show you all those practical example about the ad in the textbook there, as well as the results that comes afterwards. So you will see search engine optimization. They discuss it on page 369. And now when you're talking about blended search, our objective basically here it's about every picture that we upload or every content that we upload, we try by all means to actually use to save our pictures or save our post using our company's name. Is using keywords so that the spiders or the expenses crawling those spiders that are used. So you will see They talk about it from page 71, showing you how Google works in terms of finding information, the crawlers, and so on there. So our goal, once again, is not to spend money, is that we fill in all this information that Google asks from companies. We put in our operating hours, we put in our address, we put in a link to the website, the directions to the company. The more we put this information on Google, it becomes easy for customers to find us. And that's what search engine optimization is all about. It's not about us advertising. It's just all about us actually posting as much as we can. So you will see it's discussed into more detail, and I think the more you're gonna use the textbook to read through the content here, you're gonna get more idea or nice idea. In this page, they tell you about what they refer to as alternative image text. So instead of your photo, for example, that you're gonna upload on search engine or on Google and so on, instead of your photo being saved as IMG, which stands for image, and then the name of the photo, it will be important to actually change that and use something such as an alternative name, such as if your company is about car insurance, you save your picture as car insurance, because people will not be searching for your brand on search engine. They'll be searching for, they are looking for car insurance. Hence, you can optimize your page to come in first there. Same thing if you upload your documents, they tell you the when you upload your documents on social media or on the internet, you can use what we refer to as a description or the meta tag there, meaning that you save them with an alternative keywords rather than the name of the picture itself. They show you what I wanted to come to in terms of blended search there, universal search versus blended search. So now blended search, basically it's all what we've just discussed above here about posting as much as you can, completing that information on Google, the one asking you about your company directions, completing this information. It's all about blended search. That's how they explain it here. So it's free to do this. You just have to keep that in mind. It's not gonna cost, you're not paying Google for doing this. Your goal is just to come up on top when people search for your specific company through that. So the second option that we can use as well is to identify potential partner sites. And when we identify potential partner sites, we are running our own company, which is a digital company. And then the more we partner with other companies is the more our results gonna be on the first page there or on top there. So it's something that is similar that we talk about in research, where we talk about validity. The more actually the company has been actually, there's an article on Sowetan, there's an article on News 24, there's another article about our company on an external website. The more we publish is the more Google will see us there. So that's the two strategies that are suggested to optimize our search engine. And then we get the pay-per-click. And then the pay-per-click, the best option is to use the bid management tools. So the bid management tools, this one is a software. And then this software, what it does is an online software. It tells you people or companies will set up, it's some sort of an auction for keywords. So we can be in an auction to buy certain keywords that are applicable to our company. So the more companies are they want to buy certain keywords, the more that keyword will be more expensive in that bid management tools. So you can use that to get the best keywords that you can buy to promote your company. And then the textbook tells you about, you must be very cautious and become aware of click fraud. What usually happens with the click fraud is that your competitors, they know that you are paying Google for every click that customers will click on those links. So what they do, they will just want to bankrupt you. So if you have purchased keywords from Google and we are a competitor, what we will do here, doing a practical example, is that you have purchased these keywords, rent a car without a credit card, and then you are this company which is called Thrift Me, and we are a different company and we want to bankrupt you. We will click here as many times as possible, using different computers, using different devices, using different locations so that you can pay more. Our objective is to bankrupt you so that you don't advertise anymore. So hence it's called a click fraud that they are talking about in the example there. So when you buy keywords, you cannot put all your eggs in one basket, meaning that you take all your budget for digital marketing and you buy certain keywords, because you can be easily bankrupt there. So you want to use what is referred to as, in the textbook, they explain it nicely how you can avoid this click fraud. For example, instead of buying an unlimited number of keywords or unlimited number of clicks, you limit the number of clicks to say, I will buy 100 clicks per day. So if per day I get more than 100 clicks, they should not continue deducting, or my advert or my promotion campaign should actually run out at that particular period. And then there's more of those strategies that they talk about. But that's the difference between search engine optimization and pay-per-click, which is under search marketing. And obviously we're using search engine Google as an example, but there are other search engines such as your Yahoo, your Bing.com. But we know in practical world, almost everyone is using Google, hence we are using that one. And I would not suggest that you go to other search engines or you suggest that to a company. And the second traffic building technique that we have is a banner advertising. And now with banner advertising, this one, it entails embedding an image-based advert rather than a text-based on the website to promote a brand and to build traffic to the advertiser's website. So the banner advertising, you'll remember the first one that we talked about, which was search engine. It was more text-based, hence we talk about keywords. But here we're talking about more of a visual in terms of banner advertising. So you will see in those illustration at the bottom of the screen, you've got different types of banner ads that are showing there. So they are classified into 3 categories. Banner ads, the first category that we have here, it's intermediate ad. Like we indicated, intermediate ad, it comes before. So the most common practical example is the first one, which is like YouTube. When people use YouTube and then they get that button, skip an ad. So here we got an intermediate ad, in a sense that a person before sees a music video or whatever that is posted on YouTube, it could be a movie and so on, they get that advert that will play for 30 seconds and they cannot skip that advert until maybe it could be 30 seconds or 5 seconds, depending on how much you're willing to pay to YouTube there. And then the second one is a pop-up ad. So pop-up ad, you will see in that illustration at the bottom of the screen in the middle there. It allows the customer to close it immediately. That's the difference with intermediate ad and the pop-up ad. So here is the nice thing about intermediate ad is that you've got viewers' undivided attention because they wanna actually watch a specific video. Where else here with the pop-up ad, they've got now these tools, your pop-up blockers, meaning that if a person is running a certain browser and he enabled those tools, he can block all your adverts or with a pop-up ad. So it's not much recommended in digital era that we are living in, the pop-up ad, but we do see it being effective to when you're using it in terms of a contextual way, meaning that the customer will see a pop-up ad that it's about what they are reading on their website. So this one, you can see they're using promotion in this pop-up ad, get 15% off. So it's just unfortunate that this pop-up ad have been abused a lot. So many people have abused their pop-up ad with those. You have won an iPhone, you have won a certain price or product when they want to scam you. Hence, we've got pop-up blockers, or they were appearing so many times. Hence, we will rather recommend an intermediate ad rather than the pop-up ad. So let's look in terms of native ad there, which is also referred to as a contextualizing the advert. So native ad, you will see in this picture, usually what happens is that a person will be reading an article here, and then the article is about a certain subject. Let's quickly see if I can show you a real practical example of a native ad. Let's go to Sowetan Live website. The news articles tend to use native ads a lot. So you will see this one that is coming now that wants us to register. We can classify it as a pop-up. And let's say we've got an advert about crime stats, about Begicel and so on. That is a pop-up ad that we are seeing about Hollywood bets there. So a person is reading this article, crime stats show spikes in number of murders, and then he's reading this article, and then he gets this advert, which is part of the article. So in a way, this one becomes a native ad. And as they read the article, that was the only native ad that they have here, basically. So it becomes part of an article. But this one, I think, with Sowetan Live, they are just using it randomly. So if this advert that we see here, it was gonna make more sense if it was about crime. So if it was something about maybe a security company or something to do with crimes, the guns and so on, that will be more of a native ad rather than the one that we see here, which it talks about debt reduction. So it seems like it's kind of random in a way. So that's how native ad works. And we look in terms of digital marketing tactics that you can use when you use these different types of banner ads. Firstly, they say contextualize your advert. You use demographics there. For example, you can contextualize your advert in terms of age, meaning that only people that are between the certain age group will see that advert, and that's your target market. So if it's about gender, it could be maybe your advert is about sports cars and you know that this is mostly loved by males, then you simply target your male audience there, and then that advert is more contextualized to that specific group. Location, we've seen this with Uber Eats, we've seen this with Mr. Delivery Eats, showing you only the restaurants that are nearby. So all the adverts that they will show, they're sponsored or promotions about a certain restaurant. It won't be a restaurant from Cape Town while you are in Pretoria. They are using location there. As well as you can contextualize it based on interest, meaning that customer preferences. This could be YouTube. It does contextualize the adverts in most cases in terms of interest. If someone tend to have preferences, maybe they like things such as cooking shows and so on, they tend to see more of adverts of appliances, kitchen appliances, and so on. And then another technique that we can use under banner ad, you will see we've got the remarketing to visitors or to customers. So what usually happens is that a customer will see this advert or any of this advert here, and they will click on the link. So let's do it practically here. So we've seen an advert about this debt reduction and so on. So as soon as I click on this link, it takes me to the original website, which is Consumer Safe, that is advertising on Sowetan Live. So as a customer, I will usually say, okay, now I've read this information and I will close this website, meaning that I have not been converted to a sale. So I was not converted to a customer. I only click on the link and I visited the website. So with the remarketing, is that the second time I visit the same site, because the site already knows that I visited it once. So I can continue my process from where I left off, or either way, it can actually, if I purchased the product the last time, it can now suggest new products. So we are remarketing to visitors or previous visitors with which actually clicked on the intermediate ad, pop-up ad, native ad the past or the last time there. So those are our techniques that we can use. And then we got the third traffic building technique here, where we use online public relations and partners. So with online public relations and partners, you will see here, they say this entails increasing mentions of the brand or a website on other sites to shape opinions and drive visitors to the company website. So our goal obviously here is about our brand being mentioned quite a lot by other websites. So we can use these three different types of tactics or techniques under online public relations. First one is the brand mentions, which is the news. Like we indicated, this is the whereby we submit news articles to a certain news website. For example, we submit them to Sowetan Live, submit them to ENCA, submit them to SABC, and then hoping that they can publish those articles about us. If we are a non-profit organization, this will be by maybe on Nelson Mandela. We did some sort of initiative. We sponsored a certain charity or a cause, and now we wrote an article about that and we sent it to Sowetan, hoping that they can publish that website. And then with the paid media one, we've got affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing, you'll see in that illustration on the slide in the middle there, you've got affiliate marketing whereby maybe they say when you refer a friend, you get 100 Rand off, and your friend also get 100 Rand off on their first order and so on. A practical example of brand mention, you will see the one on the slide on the at the bottom The first one on your left side, that was some sort of a brand mention regarding a Fitbit smartwatch there. It was published on a news website. And it could also be whereby we do online sponsorship. Online sponsorship, you will see towards the right of the slide, you've got a nice practical example whereby a website will talk about who are their partners. Online partners include these certain companies, and then we sponsor maybe that website for it to run. And then as the more we sponsor this company or that website, we've already actually having some sort of a mention from the company that we are sponsoring, because you can see in this illustration, all these companies are mentioned as online partners. So when a user or a random person is searching on Google, Google will see these online partners on the external website as well for us to be known more by other customers there. So that's how online public relations and partners works. The fourth technique that we can use is the opt-in email. So opt-in email, you will see they indicated this is e-newsletters, inform and remind. Even if they might get deleted immediately, customers will at least notice the subject line of the message. And that is true. And that is why most companies are still using the opt-in email or the e-newsletters. You will sometimes wonder why companies, they still use the cold or they rent a list knowing that is not effective. It's because they know that even if you delete that email, at least you've seen the subject line. So the subject line can be used to advertise our product, because there's no way you can just delete the message without reading the subject line. So that is actually a powerful code that they talk about there. E-newsletters inform and they remind. Even if they might get deleted immediately, customers will at least notice the subject line message there. And we've got 4 different types of opt-in email that you can use. Once again, you have the house list, which is the own media, your own database of email addresses of your customers who have subscribed. You can use that. And you've got a practical example at the bottom of the screen there. That's whereby, for example, we on the left side there, we create a pop-up ad, and then that pop-up ad says sign up for a newsletter and get 25% off, and a person will enter their email address and they will subscribe. And then we get our house list email using that. And then you have cold or rented list. And then the cold or rented list, that's whereby we will actually rent a list from another company, and then we will use that list to advertise. So you will see in the middle, you've got a nice screenshot as well showing you how cold or rented list works. You're probably asking yourself, is this allowed whereby companies rent a list of other emails to another company? So your answer is in that illustration there. Usually when customers sign up for marketing communications, they will have a box that they tick. You will see here they say, we don't want you to miss out on special offers, coupons, vouchers, other competition that we think would interest you. Remember, you can opt out anytime. And then a customer will say, yes, please, I want to receive offers, promotions from across group by email. So meaning that you have given a right to this company to actually use your email with the other groups. Hence, it becomes a cold or rented list. And then you get the co-branded or third-party newsletter, and you will see towards the right, that illustration shows you an example of a co-branded email as well as a third-party newsletter. This is whereby it was introducing Starbucks as well as Spotify. So two companies here have a co-branded Starbucks and Spotify, and this was part of their e-newsletter. Once again, we don't want this opt-in email or newsletters to get deleted. So we've got some tactics that we can use. So here you become as practical as possible as you develop your plan or your tactics. So you will see they say if you are using an opt-in email, the first thing you want to grab attention in the subject line. So hence we indicated that the person, even if they delete your email, they will read the subject line. So attention, you must grab it there. For example, things such as get 25% off, they do grab attention of customers because those are some sort of incentive, some sort of promotion, sales promotion, and so on. Personalize your email. It should not be dear valued customer, dear client, but it should be as specific as possible, like dear Mr. Smith, to indicate that this email was not sent to a mass group of customers. We don't read such emails. We don't pay attention. As soon as it says dear client, it means you don't know me. So we also wanna, as customers, they feel valued. So it must be personalized, because the more you personalize it, is the more customers they feel like they are valued by the company, or the company knows them. This one is by law, which is the third one, is the legal requirement. Provide opt-out or unsubscribe option. So every opt-in or newsletter or every email promoting the products, it's usually at the bottom of the page. You will see that it should allow customers to say, I would like to unsubscribe from the list. So if it does not have that, that company obviously can be sued. So that one is by law. And then include hyperlink to website for more detailed content. So including hyperlink, it's whereby you include follow us on social media. This is our website, or click here to visit our website. So you must include at least some links to the website, or it's not only to the website, to other pages, social media, like I've indicated, for more detailed content. Scan this QR code and so on. So these are the tactics that we use under the opt-in email. And the last technique that we have, we refer to this as viral marketing. Viral marketing is defined as a clever, shocking, informative idea that is so amazing, making people want to pass it on. It includes video clips, TV adverts, cartoon, funny pictures, hashtags as well. That is part of viral marketing there. We've already discussed the different types of viral marketing options you have. You can use email viral, for example. And then now with the email viral, you've got that screenshot at the bottom of the screen on the left side. Email viral, the plan is to send it to one person, hoping that one person will forward it to two people. So you make it so amazing, so cleverly, that every person wants to forward it to at least two people, and you can see how it works. At the end of the day, you'll have what we refer to as a snowball effect, whereby you've got a large number of group of people who have forwarded those emails there. And then you've got the second option, which is referred to as email prompt viral. Email prompt viral, this is whereby we create an email, we send it to a specific group of people. The nice screenshot that you have explaining the email prompt is the one in the middle there. For example, in the email, we will say, you can also add your friend instead of forwarding. So in a way, it's kind of like similar to forward button, but we include the function whereby, for example, you'll see here it says, I thought you will enjoy this e-newsletter, and then the person will enter their friend's email, and then they can click that forward button there. With the web prompt, the same tactics are now used, but now they are used on the website. Click here to forward this email to a friend. That will be email prompt, and then web prompt will be something such as that one, whereby a customer will actually on the website, they can enter their friends or someone they know's email, and then we can forward that email to them, or that catalog and so on, or newsletter if that's the newsletter. Incentivize viral. Once again, people get paid for this. You've got a nice illustration at the bottom on the right there. You've got, for example, refer a friend, get 20% cash, just forward this email or copy and send this message. So we usually put all these details in the email, and then the more they refer them to their friends, and then they get incentivized. It's more like affiliate marketing. The only difference is that this one takes place in the email subject, or in the email as a platform there. And then we can use a web link variable. Web link variable, you've got that nice screenshot at the bottom of the screen on the right side there. One is saying share your link on Facebook, or share this link on Twitter, and then a person will get paid for that. It's also incentivized the web link. It can also work basically on social media there. So here we've got those 5 viral marketing techniques, the different ones. And we've got also the tactics that we use as well, which are just strategies basically. Creative material being number 1. So when you want to go viral, or you create a viral email or marketing, you want to use creative material. For example, that could be a wow effect, hashtag something, include, it could be a video and so on. And then you also want to talk about the shared experience. Shared experience, it could be something such as a special occasion, such as Nelson Mandela Day, in your email. So the shared experience is the experience that we share together. Black Friday is also a shared experience in a way. Valentine's Day is a shared experience. So special occasions work best for the shared experience among people, because that's whereby they will actually forward the email most of the time, since that day will be, or that occasion will be upcoming. And then the last strategy, or the last tactic that you can use under viral marketing is you must seed. Seeding and promoting your email, post it across several media platforms. So if you want to go viral, you cannot rely on Facebook only. You post it on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you go to Hello Peter. So you want to make sure that you do some sort of seeding there, and you promote it across all social media platforms. That is a tactic that we have to go viral there. So just to take you back once again to reflect on this chapter, is that now that you understand those different types of techniques that we can use, we will have to develop this table. So this table will go back to our tactics here. And you'll remember now that the table is asking us 3 things there. So you will see the first one, they talk about targets, techniques, and timing. So that will be targets. techniques, they usually recommend that you use 2 or a combination of 2 or more. So instead of rather than using one technique, so you should try and keep that at the back of your head at some stage there, and then the timing as well. So now there are 2 things that we do under targets. So now the first one under targets, they talk about the number of customers that we are targeting, number of visitors targeting. So like I've indicated, this is part of the template. It will always be like that. Number of visitors targeted there. This will depend on any case study that you are dealing with. So management usually comes up with some sort of ideas that if they get a certain number of customers subscribing, they will break even or they will start to make profit. So you don't just make a blind guess here. So to show you a practical example, let's say we were doing learning activity 1, and learning activity 1 was about timer bank. And then as we read this case study, they indicated that the bank expects to break even in 2022 if it can attract 2.1 million active customers. So you can see this target, it comes from actually management. So in this case, if we're doing this for timer bank, we will say we will use 2.1 million because that's what they have targeted in terms of customers or visitors that we need them to sign up for timer bank there. So I will use that as a practical example. So just think practically before you use any number there. If the case study has some sort of guidelines regarding that, if the case study does not provide you guidelines, use a logical number, for example, 1,000 rather than going to 300 and so on, or 10,000 or 100,000 customers and so on. And then you will see the second aspect is part of the template, which is the cost of getting the visitor, cost per visitor. So this one we will need to do some sort of research, and before we complete this part, we need to know what type of technique you're gonna use because each technique has different type of cost. So for now, we will rather come to the second part, which is talking about techniques, and be as specific as possible there. So we've got all those options that we can use in terms of techniques, which we discuss, and they are more shown in this slide. So in this slide, you can choose at least 2 techniques, depending whether the company has enough budget or it's having a limited budget with their own media and so on. So let's say, for example, we are using search marketing as a technique, and we are using pay per click. So we will indicate here, we'll use search marketing. And we indicate the type of search marketing that we're gonna use. So this one will be pay per click. And once again, we will actually need to find out how much does it cost usually to buy keywords from Google. So we will need to do some sort of our own research. So for example, we can ask, for example, how much is pay click on Google. And then we do this research, and then the more we find information on the internet, we can use that. For example, here they say the average cost per click on Google Ad is between $1 and $2. So we know we live in South Africa, so $2 in South African rands, you can see that is 34 rand. So if we're gonna use that, we will say for each pay per click, we can round it off to 50 rand because maybe we can expect some more cost during the way there. So we will say we are using pay per click. The cost per visitor is 50 rand, and we want to attract 2.1 million. So we will have to indicate to management of Timer Bank how much we're gonna need there. That will be 2.1 million. And in that 2.1 million, we wanna multiply that by 50 rand. So we are looking at about 105 million that Timer Bank should spend basically to attract those number of visitors that they are looking for there. So that is 105 million, and you can see now this cost seems to be a bit high. That is because they are also having actually a high number of people that they want to target, which should visit Timer Bank and sign up there. So the more you target more, obviously the cost is gonna be high. But by now, remember that case study was written 2019 and now it's already 2022, and Timer Bank has already attracted this number of customers. And once again, this is a digital marketing plan. Sometimes what happens is that Timer Bank will be interested to attract 2.1 million, but they only wanna attract maybe 1 million using digital media channels. The other 1.1 million, they will use other strategy. For example, that could be your normal marketing plan, like your TV adverts, your billboard adverts, and so on. And then now here we must indicate the duration, obviously. This one will be fixed because it's pay per click. Otherwise, even if they've attracted this number of customers, some of customers will no longer remember or will not visit our website directly. They will type Timer Bank. Let's say a customer is already converted to an existing customer, but now instead of going to Timer Bank website, they come to Google, they type Timer Bank, and then they click here. And then you can see now if they click here, we will be paying as Timer Bank because it's pay per click rather than if they just go to the normal website there. So that's what usually happens, and that's what usually become our decision, that we want to make it a fixed duration. We don't want to make it a continuous duration, the pay per click. So this could be, for example, for 3 years. The case study was in 2019. So let's say they buy these keywords from, the plan was to buy them from January 2020 to December 2022. So it's a 3-year one. So we'll have something similar, such as this one, but once again, it is recommended that you at least have 2. You cannot rely only on one technique that you're going to use. And since we've indicated here that this one is going to cost 50 rand per visitor, we know according to our search, it was costing 34 rand. So at least we have 15 rand per cost that we can also use it on a different customer. That's what we on a different strategy or technique. I mean, that's the idea that we have here. So search marketing, we can use it with a different technique. So it is recommended once again that if you use search engines such as pay per click and you have high cost, and then you can use banner adverts because these two are very effective, but nothing limits you from using pay per click with opt-in email or pay per click with online public relations. So it's up to you really there how you can integrate those those two different tools there. So let's say in this case, we're gonna use search marketing, which is expensive. So we're gonna go for something that is low cost here. So let's say our next one is to use some sort of a viral marketing. And we pay each customer 10 rand to forward an email. So that will be incentivized viral marketing that we have there. And then we must be specific now. This one is pay per click, which is a fixed one. So continuous one, I think viral marketing, it's also gonna be impossible to make it continuous. So even this one, we can make it a fixed period. And let's say every 3 months, we've got some sort of a new idea or new creative material that we're gonna run. Just for argument's sake, let's make it continuous so that you not limit yourself to only fixed and get more idea there. So if we make this one viral marketing, we make it continuous, we can say maybe every 3 months, we try to create some sort of a creative post or a hashtag something for Timer Bank up until, yeah, it is just gonna be continuous. So yeah, this will work. So your tactics, it's something that looks something similar to this in terms of traffic building. The case study might guide you regarding the techniques that they are currently using or that they are hoping to use. So it's not kind of like it's open-ended in general. So try and look for keywords in the case study. But if you don't find any keywords that that can help you to guide you what types of techniques you can use, then you are more than welcome to actually be creative there. So that is the end of chapter 7, basically. So for us to do some sort of a reflection and see if we understood the chapter, it's important for us to actually have a case study and look at the certain types of questions that are asked in the case study to prepare for your assessment, especially the one that is coming on the 12th September. What I've also wanted to indicate, which I did not regarding this, is the chapters, obviously. And then the chapters, obviously, I'll confirm them on Brightspace. But at the moment is the new chapters that we've covered in the second semester, which is your chapter 5, chapter 6, and chapter 7 that we're gonna focus on for that assessment. So chapter 7 being the traffic building techniques there. So let's quickly go to the learning activity, which is learning activity 6, or about jukes. So what you wanna do, you wanna download this case study and just go through the questions after you've downloaded the case study. You don't have to answer them, obviously. You just wanna see and get an idea if this was a test or this was an assessment, if you will be able to answer those questions. We're gonna use quizzes to answer those questions. So let's make it learning activity. There are two learning activities there, so we're only gonna focus on the first one. So that would be learning activity 6.1, I think. Learning activity 6, okay? Yeah. The second one, learning activity 7, you can do that at your own time. Learning activity 6, we're gonna focus on that. So let's say right now it's 5 to 11. Let's say we're gonna read the case study up until 11 o'clock. So I'm gonna mute myself on my side so that you can concentrate and understand the case study. And then once you have done reading the case study, you'll find instructions about joining the quizzes. So in the meantime, I'll be doing that. So at 11, try and join the quiz and see if you understood. You've understood this chapter. So read the case study, which is learning activity 6. So don't mind the silence. I just want you to focus on the case study while you're reading the case study. Okay, I think now we can attempt to answer the questions. I think we've read the case study, we've understood the content or the context of the case study there. So looking at the questions, obviously this will also be some sort of your reflection or revision for the upcoming test as well as your submissive test. You should be able to develop a digital marketing plan. So this is an overall digital marketing plan, and we provided you with the SOSTAC planning framework in Annex Chap B. So quickly going to Annex Chap B, you will see a digital marketing plan which you are familiar with, whereby you do the 8 Ps. So everything that you do here must be from the case study because it's asking you where is the organization now. So you only do the analysis, you don't do the recommendations, anything here. And then you develop objectives where does the organizations wants to be. So the objective must be new. So in this case, you don't want to do an analysis, and most of you keep on losing marks when it comes to objectives because you tend to do the analysis. So in other words, here you propose a new strategy and you deal with the things that you've discussed for traffic buildings if you want to sell, or promotion elements if you want to speak, to save or to sizzle. That's where you focus on partnership and product like we've discussed. Strategies like we've developed today, we've got 3 strategies: using post methodology for social media, using the website design elements, and lastly, you develop tactics that the organization should use. So the tactics that you indicate here are the same tactics that you're going to indicate in the actions and control. And then with the actions and control, obviously, you will see you've got your targets, like we've indicated, number of visitors that we targeting, as well as the timing, talking about the fixed duration and the continuous one. So that's basically an overview of what the digital marketing plan will look like, or your question 6.1 should be answered. And then you see question 6.2, examine and discuss traffic building techniques used by Jukes management in the following examples. So all this, I think, is part of your quizzes. So in other words, we can focus on the quiz website. So you are familiar with quiz. So let's quickly see if we can get a high accuracy today. So I will actually suggest that you put in a lot of effort because you are also preparing for your assessment in this case by using the quizzes. So previously we obviously used the game code, but now we've got a new convenient way to run a quiz. So in this case, we will be actually not using the game code. We will be sharing a link, and you will be using that link. It will take you directly to basically the quiz. So let's start it and make it a live one, and I will share the link in the chat box. It's only 10 questions. So you can join the quizzes by actually using that link. It won't ask for a game code if you click on the link directly on the chat box and you use any nickname there. But let's say you are most familiar with the old method and it wants a game code. So you can also use the old method. The old method, that's whereby instead of clicking on the link, you will go to quizzes. And what you want to do there is want to join a quiz, and it will ask for a game code if that's the case. And if it asks for a game code, you'll enter that game code. So once again, don't mind the silence on my side. I'll be quiet. I want you to focus on that quizzes game. So I'll mute myself and then we can discuss the reflection or your answers at the end of the quiz. So good luck, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for participating in that quiz. I hope it was fun. Firstly, let's end the quiz now so that we can see the questions that gave you a hard time and just quickly review them so that you don't repeat the same mistakes on those questions. Congratulations, LM7 for being number one. Please unmute your mic and send a shout out. Send a shout out to your child, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your mom, your dad, anything. LM7.
Shout out, sir. Shout out.
Yes, yes, shout out to.
Shout out to my family,
Yes, number
and my
one family.
and to you, sir.
Yeah, and me for creating the quiz. Thank you. And maybe our classmates for participating as well here. So let's now review some sort of the questions that gave you a hard time. You will see question 1, question 3, and question 10 are the one with the red flags. So let's quickly look at those red flags. For this question, only 2 of you got correct answers, with the answers, other answers being incorrect. So the question was saying, examine a traffic building technique used by Jukes management in the following examples. Juke posts more images and videos on the internet with detailed information. The correct answer for that was search engine optimization. Remember, the more you post, the more you actually complete the information on the internet. You post videos, you post images about your company. Is the more you optimize the search engine, is the free one. It's not pay per click. Pay per click is buying keywords, and the rest of those adverts were incorrect because that's whereby we will be actually buying it. The only correct one is this one, search engine optimization, because we are actually trying to be number one in the results there. The second question with the red flag, it was question number 3. You will see this question was asking you, examine a traffic building technique used by Jukes management in the following example. Jukes forms a strategic partnership allowing Jukes to utilize DSTV email list and from email address in order to persuade customers to add Jukes family plan to their DSTV subscriptions then. So the correct answer there is cold or rented email address. I can see 5 players, which is the largest number, chose co-branded. And I wouldn't blame you much for choosing co-branded there, because the question was saying there is some sort of a partnership, strategic partnership, meaning that it's collaboration, hence co-branded between Jukes and DSTV. But what makes it to be cold rented, so that in future you can be able to separate between cold rented list as well as co-branded, is that sentence that says from email address. So this sentence, what it means is that when you open your emails, let's say I'm opening my emails like this now. So basically, I will see something such as this one. It says from email at tut.brightspace.com. So it simply means we are renting a list if we are able to send an email, and the customers will see our company's name there. It means that is not co-branded. Co-branded will only show DSTV. So in other words, the email will come from DSTV, whereas if we rent a list, it will come directly from Jukes. So that's what made that question to be called rented. That sentence where it says they are able to utilize the from part. So you'll remember that. So the last question, which was showing a red flag, it was question number 10. And question number 10 was asking you here, examine a traffic building technique used by Jukes management in the following example. Jukes starts a YouTube advertising campaign whereby their advert appears before for 5 seconds before the audience can skip that advert. So that was intermediate ad, because that's the ad that comes in. It's not a pop-up. A pop-up, it won't be before. So I see 5 players chose pop-up, but the pop-up will be delayed. So the difference between intermediate ad and pop-up ad is that the pop-up will be delayed first. It will only come up after maybe a minute the user was on the website, where else this one is intermediate. Hence, it says before the audience can skip the ad. It's also forced. It's also something that you should also remember while you are answering other quizzes or in terms of answering this question in the future. So you'll remember I've indicated that you will be writing your open book assessment on chapter 5, 6, and 7. So it's important for us to also do some sort of reflection, because this is going to be our last class before you complete that assessment. So there's also another quiz that I've prepared for you, which is a reflection. So in this quiz, you will see chapter 5 and chapter 6 is also included in the quiz. So we're going to play another quiz now. So I'm going to make this one a live game as well, so that you can also reflect a bit on previous chapters, which are part of the next assessment. So once again, you will be using a new code that you have there. So I've shared the link for the new game that you can click now. So if it asks you or you prefer the old method, we've got the new code for that one. So I will also paste that if you use that method. Thank you for indicating that I'm a bit cutting. I think it was my cable here. So I hope you can also hear me very well now. Unless it's only on your side, I don't know. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna mute myself once again. Don't mind the silence because I want you to focus on that quizzes game. So good luck, ladies and gentlemen. We'll discuss feedback once you're done. All right. Thank you for participating, ladies and gentlemen. I think that will help you as well to reflect on chapter 5 and chapter 6, which is your next assessment. Congratulations, Sims, for maintaining position number 1 there. So I'm going to end the quiz. Sims, would you like to unmute the mic and send a shout out, a special thanks for being number 1 there?
Yes, shout out, sir. Shout out.
Shout out to who?
Shout out to you.
To you. Oh, shout out to yourself. Yes. Shout out to everyone who participated in the quiz. So I'm not gonna go through the questions here because this is a reflection for basically your assessment. So feel free to ask any questions if you have. You can unmute the mic because the next time I see you, it will be after your test. And in the chat box there, remember, before you leave, sign the attendance register. You can just comment with any smiley face, any emoticon face representing your mood, happy face, a sad face, any emoticon face, money face if you're feeling lucky, or anything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely weekend. From my side, good luck with your test and goodbye.